morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner. It's Ash Wednesday, so we're in Lent. For anybody who's did dry January, you're straight onto a dry Lent. You only had a couple of weeks of drinking. Bad luck. Right, let's go into the start off with a big one, shall we? With Glencore this morning, they had final results, Paul. I think it was. I think they slightly missed their targets for this year, but had a pretty upbeat outlook, so the markets quite liked it and marked it up about 12 or 13p to 4.99, just touching that level where they IPO'd at £5 many moons ago, back to where you started, so to speak. So what's your view on that, Paul?
Yeah, they did say that they did actually meet their production guidance for the year, but it's the outlook going forward from here for the next half to full year results, particularly the big jump in copper output in the second half of this full year results to over 500,000 tons, which was up by 50% on a year-on-year basis. And that's due to higher copper grades and recoveries at four of their different mine operations here. Um, Full year results released were at 13.5 billion adjusted EBITDA, but that was down by 6%, whereas the second quarter was up by 49, or second half was up by 49% versus the first half. Net income attributable was 2.3 billion and that was prior to pre significant items, 2.3 billion. So they are on the right track here. It's kind of a mixed set of results because they did essentially miss on a lot of the other metrics, being down on a year-on-year comparative basis. They also separately announced a deal with Jika Mines in the DRC for land access at the Komodo Copper Company in the DRC. And that means that mine life can be extended out to the 2040s there by giving them extra waste rock and tailings storage access on surface rights over there. So that is good news to hear as well.
Yeah, also interesting, they do have a very big focus about copper going forward, which copper is more and more becoming the commodity that people want to sort of own for the next 10 years, should we say. But anyway, moving on, let's have a look at the results from Pan-African Resources. Interesting stock, this going almost nowhere for years and years and years. I remember it right back at the beginning of the 2000s. Really struggled along, and then suddenly, of course, in about 2004, as the gold price took off, they took off too. And it's been a stunning performer since then. But Paul, talk us through those results.
Yes, that's right. This is 6-month results that they reported out today, driven by a 51.5% rise in gold production to over 128,000 ounces, in conjunction with over a 60% rise in the average gold price received to US $3,812 an ounce. So revenue came in on the interim period here, US $487 million. All-in sustaining costs are a bit higher, though, than what they had been forecasting, coming in at $1,874 an ounce. And they have revised their second half all-in sustaining cost guidance as well to be in a similar but slightly lower range, below $1,870 an ounce. They do have a number of additional growth projects underway, including the Mogali Tailings Retreatment Operation. And the full year gold production guidance is to be just a little bit shy of 300,000 ounces gold produced. So they did also announce an interim dividend of 12,000 Rand as well. So definitely just going better and better as things go here at this point for South African gold producers.
Yeah, there's a few interesting South African gold producers who are about to go into production at the moment. We've all just come back from South Africa, but it'd be quite interesting to go and see a few of them. A lot of them are very easily reachable from Johannesburg. You could put a really interesting tour together. I was talking to somebody about that when I was down at Cape Town, whether it would be worthwhile doing. Anyway, moving on to today's news. Harena Resources, quite interesting. It's a rare earth project in Madagascar. I find Madagascar very, very interesting. And particularly at the moment, that's another topic slightly, but they've just raised £2 million from what they call a prominent investor. We don't know who that is. It's look. I'll tell you what. The position of their resource project up on the north of the island is beautiful. So if you get invited for a site visit, go for it. You'll love it. Not quite so sure about the quality of the project, but that's still to be discovered to a certain extent. Any take on that, Paul?
No, it was a fairly brief press release that they gave there, and they didn't give any disclosure exactly to who that new investor is. So you'll have to ask management, I guess, on that one to get more info.
I had one of their non-execs in the office yesterday, actually, but I'm not sure how up to speed he is himself. But there we go. Also, one of our corporate clients yesterday put up an update on their La Guitarra project, which is Sierra Madre, one of the places that I visited last August, going phenomenally well. Any comment on that, Paul?
Yes, that was more or less just an operational update of how they are advancing the expansion of the operation up from the current nominal 500 to 600 tons a day up to 800 tons a day of milling capacity and mine production rates. New equipment has been acquired in order to get that second production area off to the east in La Guitarra into regular contributing production here, as well as the installation of new milling equipment or additional milling equipment, essentially to give them the capacity in the crushing circuit for putting a higher rate of throughput through the mill. I suspect that once they get this done and running properly too, that they will want to expand La Guitarra yet again, but that will be pending some additional exploration outcome and further talks that we'll have with them at PDAC.
Yeah, we'll be meeting all the Mexican silver miners that I saw last August, plus some more, I'm sure. I think we have quite a following in that space now. Maybe just to finish on, Paul, it's an interesting situation with Amaroq, who are delisting their shares in the TSX Ventures, although they're still on quite a few exchanges. And it's all being done by Citigroup, which is fairly remarkable that such a big bank wants to come down and play in the little boy space. But I think everybody is realizing you've got to be in commodities and mining stocks, and there aren't that many to go around, so you sort of got to grab what you can. But talk us through that one, Paul. It's quite funny in many ways.
Well, they're actually going to drop their listing on the TSX Venture Exchange effective March the 19th, and that's due to low trading volumes in Canada. While they do so, they still maintain the three current listings on AIM, NASDAQ, Iceland, and OTCQX, and they do intend to migrate that AIM listing into a full LSE listing here sometime during this current calendar year. The whole point being is to establish it, I think, as a more visible and player in the gold space. They are an operating company again here in Greenland with a high-grade underground gold mine. And there is more to play for in South Greenland as far as some of the grassroots exploration they've done in recent years. So the more visible in the high capital market areas like the United States or in London, I think, is what the real plan is here.
Maybe it was a presidential instruction to Citigroup to get on and help the Americans in Greenland and to get rid of those terrible Canadian exchanges, etc. All right, on that note, we'll call it a day for that, and we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks.
Very good.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.